You just did it.
I know it was up here. Was it? Hang on.
Right there, right there.
Is that good? Yeah. No, we get to the chats again. There we go.
We are rolling.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show here with Graham and I. We're celebrating our 45th anniversary from meeting today, May the 12th. And this is really very special for us, and we're so glad that you took the time to say hi to us. So we'll get to your questions as soon as we can. But Graham, any thoughts?
Hi everybody, wherever you are around the world, thank you for joining us on this very momentous occasion for us and for everyone, for all Air Supply fans. It's nice to have you with us, and we're going to ask you some questions. I don't know what that was. You're going to ask us some questions, but it's nice to be with you, everyone, around the world. Happy Air Supply Day.
You want to pick a question first, Ace?
Yeah, I'm not seeing any yet.
You've got to click on the chat thing.
Aha. Why don't you go while I figure that out? I'm hitting private chat, but it's not doing anything.
Okay. This one's from Shane.
Wait a minute. No, I hit it and it's still not doing anything.
Okay.
You go.
This one's from Shane Ellison. Have you both worn ear mics? Yes, we've been using them for many, many years. In the old days, of course, you had these big boxes in front of you called wedges, and the sound from all over the stage in front of every musician used to feed into all the microphones on stage. Very confusing, and the sound was very hard to control. But with the in-ear monitors, everybody has just what they want to hear, and it's much easier for the front of house engineer to control the sound. And over to you, G.
Well, I'm seeing all these comments, but I'm not seeing any questions.
Well, scroll down till you get a question.
Oh, is that what we do?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. All right, I see one now. Oh, here's one from Stuart Siegel. Who is your favorite business manager?
It's his brother.
Our favorite business manager is Barry Siegel. He's our manager too. Here's one from Cheryl Bouteau. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. When is your next concert? It's a good question. We don't know the answer to that because we're locked down like everybody else, but we're hoping it's going to be in the not too distant future, because otherwise we'll forget how to play. But we're hoping to do something in August, but depending on the national emergency people, they may say that's too early, but we have to go with the flow. But a great question. Russell?
Yes, I'm scrolling as we speak. Or I'm not scrolling as we speak. This is from Ermine, I think. How do you keep your fit bodies? Well, first of all, you need a new prescription in your glasses. But we just try to stay as healthy as we can on the road. Obviously it's very difficult. Different cities every night, different time zones, and also when you fly overseas. But, just be sensible. And we've been doing this for such a long time. We think we have a pretty good routine. We realize that, the audiences, no matter where you play, they deserve the best of you. So we try to eat as healthily as we can and get plenty of sleep.
Yeah.
And over to you, Graham.
Okay, mate. Hello from Minnesota. Here we go. I'm just looking for a question. What have you been doing while you've been stuck at home? That's a very good question. I've been writing songs every day. I wrote and recorded 16 songs for a new musical, which kept me out of trouble and kept me busy every day, which is great. Plus, I wrote everything on the piano, so it got my piano chops back up to snuff, which I'm very happy about. But that's an excellent question.
This one's from Debbie. What inspires your music, personal experiences, or mythical? Also, Graham, what's your preference for acoustic guitar bands? I think the inspiration for our music to begin with, well, especially from my point of view, was always and still is the Beatles. They were just the biggest influence. I'd listened to a lot of good music, and a lot of good singers, Frank Sinatra, Tony Bennett, those kind of people, even older than us. Well, Frank Sinatra's dead, but once I heard the Beatles sing, once I heard their songs, I was hooked for life. And your acoustic guitar preferences, Graham?
I like them all. I've got quite a few. I've probably got maybe at least a dozen acoustic guitars, but I like them all, and they're all totally different. When you pick one up, it just feels very unique. Like at the moment, I'm playing my Nags white one, which I leave lying around my house, and I just pick it up as I'm passing. I have a lot of them in my studio downstairs, but it depends what kind of vibe I'm into. If I feel like a big sound, I'll pick a 12-string up. So it just depends what mood I'm in, and what I kind of want to start writing. But as I said earlier, I've been playing a lot of piano lately, which is cool. But I love acoustic guitars. I very rarely play electric at home. I think maybe because you have to plug it in.
And it's too loud.
It's too loud. You have to, find the amp, plug it in. But with acoustic, I just pick it up, which is very cool. Hey,
this question is from Felix. Why don't you sing "Lonely Is the Night" at your concert? That's a great song, and we're fortunately in the position that we've had a lot of success and a lot of hit songs, and we try to play most of the songs that people want to hear. Sometimes we swap songs in and out. In fact, we just added "Without You" again recently to the show. So maybe it'll show up in the future when we get out there again. But once again, we do the best we can to please everybody that comes to see us.
Here's a good one from Lionel Cortiel. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Can we see you one day in Geneva, Switzerland? Please. I'd love to play in Geneva, Switzerland. We've never played in Switzerland. A lot of European countries have been they've been the last bastions to fall for us. I mean, we have a lot of fans all over the world, but I don't know. I'd love to play in Switzerland. So if anybody can arrange that, we're in. It's a beautiful country. I've been there a couple of times, and we've had layovers there too a couple of times when we're on our way somewhere. Great question. Thank you.
I'd like to buy a new watch too.
Right, and open a new Swiss bank account.
That's funny. Let me see. Where are we quarantined? I think, sorry, the name went by, but you know who you are. We're at home. I live in Georgia and Graham lives in Utah. We speak to the guys in the band and the crew once a week just to check in. They're all at home. No one's going out unless they have to, which I think is the most sensible thing to do at this point. We obviously go to the grocery store, and we live in a community where we're lucky enough to be able to stand across the street and speak to our neighbours and have a glass of wine. But really, until this thing is totally secure, I think everyone should do the smart thing and stay in and wash your hands, of course.
Very good.
Thank you.
Aha, let me look at one. Hello, guys. I sent to you lots of love. Frontal Brazil. I think she means lots of love from Brazil. Sing to us, Lost in Love. We would do, but we've got to answer all these questions first. But hello to everybody in Brazil. We haven't been there for 2 or 3 years, but we look forward to coming back when everything's normal again. Thank you, Monica.
This one's from Jeanette. Is there anyone you would love to sing a duet with? Well, we'd like to do a triet. Graham and I would love to sing with Paul McCartney. I think if that was ever made possible, we'd be all over it. And personally, there's a very famous singer in Australia called John Farnham. He's my favourite vocalist of all time. And
except for me, of course.
Of course, except for Graham. Yeah. That goes without saying, but I just said it. Yeah, but Paul McCartney for Graham and I would be absolutely incredible. In fact, I probably faint before I got to the microphone.
Yeah. I would love to meet McCartney. It's my dream, I think, my musical dream. Oh, here's a good one. It's not a question, it's just a statement from Joe Vega. Oh my gosh, I had every one of your albums. I hope you still have them. Still love you guys and happy that my daughter loves your music too. Very nice. Thank you, Joe.
This one's from Dalton. This is a good question. Will you be needing a new drummer soon? I'd love to audition. It's been a dream of mine to perform with you guys for over 30 years. Well, we have a wonderful drummer right now, Pavel. He's been with us for a very short time. But, you know, I always say to everybody that we come across that has a question involving musicianship and playing with us, never say never. So hang in there, bud. Who knows?
Very good. Oh, here we go. Matt Chermak. I'm in an Air Supply tribute band. Is that okay? Absolutely. I love your music so much, and this is my way to honor you both. That's a very kind and honorable thing to say. Thank you, Matt. Keep playing. I'd love to see you actually live.
Really, I think there's a band, I don't know whether you're in it, Matt, called Hair Supply, and they play heavy metal versions of our songs. And I heard a couple of their songs once, and they were quite good. But, you know, it's always a compliment if anybody takes one of your songs or a lot of your songs and sing them. Having technical difficulties here, folks.
Hold that. Just hold it.
Here's a question from Jennifer Lynn Tarantino. Hello from New Jersey. Is there something you must have out on the road? Well, there's a lot of things that you must have, but one thing that I like to have out is a juicer. I like to juice before I go on stage, and then I make one for afterwards and for the next morning. So I love to juice, and it gives me great energy. But of course, there's a lot of things you need out there. You need nice clothes so people think you're a groovy people. Thank you, Jennifer.
Good question.
Yeah.
Let me see. Mickey says, is that a dog on the mantle behind you? Well, it's not a dog. It's a painting of a dog. It's my dog, Chili Rose. She's beautiful. About 3 or 4 people have sent her portraits of her, and it's very flattering, but she's a cute dog. But she bites, sadly.
From Linda Paul, how many poems have you written? I think probably maybe 600 or 700, I think. Not nearly as many poems as songs, but that's a nice question, and I hope you enjoy the poems every week on Sundays. Thank you, Linda.
This one's from Solamar. Wow, special friend of ours. You both perform with passion. After 45 years, that's amazing. How do you do it? And what do you enjoy most about performing? Well, it's the audience and the fans always. They are, and you are the reason that we do what we do. And it's always amazing to go to new places and see new fans and see how your music's affected them so deeply. Always great to see fans that have seen us many times come back and still be affected the same way. But it all starts, we've always said this, our music, it always starts with the song and the fans. If you don't have either of those, you don't have success. And somebody said to me once, which struck me as quite interesting, people ask us all the time about how you do it. And somebody once said, the honeybee that goes to different flowers and pollinates and does its thing. Technically, it's not supposed to be able to fly because its body is too big for its wings. But the bee doesn't know that, so it just flies. So I think we're in the same boat. We don't know how it happens, we just do it.
That's a good question.
That was deep.
You were very deep then. I'm impressed.
I was deep.
Yeah. Here's a question from Jenny Vogues. What are your favorite foods and favorite colors? My favorite colors are yellow and blue. My favorite foods, I love Indian curries. I'm vegan, but I make a lot of curries, all vegetarian, and no dairy and no meat. That's me. But thank you for Jenny.
Let me see. These questions are flashing by really quickly. See you every year at Westbury. Is there a venue that you played more in your career than Westbury? I don't think so. I think we've been playing there since 1980, pretty much every year.
Yeah, correct.
Vegas is probably a close second, but certainly Westbury, I think, would be the top.
Yeah, if I may add something, you're right, Russell. We've played Westbury every year since 1980, but we missed a year, and I think it was 92 or 93. But we've played there every year since then, so that is the most frequented venue that we play. Oh, here's one from Lisa Fredrickson. Is this the longest you've been apart from one another since you started in 1975? I think it is, isn't it?
It must be. We take very short breaks from time to time. And, when you have a short break from each other, it's great to get back on the road or in the studio to see each other. But this certainly is, obviously we speak as much as we can. And this is great to see Graham on TV here, because I haven't seen his mug for quite a bit.
Right.
Your haircut looks good, dude. And,
I haven't had one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it looks good.
I put it behind my ears.
Oh, really? Do you have a ponytail?
I'm trying to grow it out a bit, but I don't know if I'll make it. But I put it behind my ears and it looks shorter. But thank you.
Yeah. Did I answer a question there or not? Oh, yeah. Yeah. We have. This is the longest we've been apart, probably.
I think it is. Yeah. Gainesville. Oh, is Anthony Santa Mauro? Will Never Fade Away be back in the set? That's a good question. That's possibly. I mean, there are so many songs, but maybe it's time to change it up a bit. But that could be definitely a candidate for the future. We'll think about that.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let me see. This is from Christy. Whoops, I just lost the question. Sorry, Christy. Let me pick another one. Oh, this is very cool. Derek Frank, former bass player of ours, just dropped by to say hi. Great to hear from you, mate. I hope you and Annette are doing great, and we miss you. Hopefully we can catch up on the road at some point soon. But thanks for your comment, and thanks for calling in, bud. We love you. Excellent to hear from you.
Jennifer Bright, are you still planning on being on the 70s cruise? Yes, it'll be a double entendre, because the music will be from the 70s and we will be too. We're on the cruise in February, I believe. The end of February to bring in March. I think we're on it for a week this time, which would be great.
Yep. This one's from Colleen. It says, for both of us, can each of you tell us your favorite Air Supply song? Mine is probably All Out of Love. It's certainly the most requested song at every concert we play. And it really cemented Air Supply in people's consciousness when it was released after Lost in Love. And it's I think, probably it is one of the top 3 songs Graham's ever written.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I just saw, Nicole Ashley. Not a question, but she's saying hello from Israel. I want to wish everyone a happy Air Supply Day that's tuning in from Israel. And we should be back there in, I don't know, maybe, hopefully 21. But hello, everybody out there. We love Israel. It's a beautiful country.
This one is from Mitchell. What's the funniest thing that's happened while on the road? And love from Sally and Mitch in Brooklyn too. Well, it wasn't funny, but I fell off the stage. Most of you know that. In 1982, we were in Minneapolis playing the state fair, and I zigged when I should have zagged, and I fell off the stage and broke my arm and 3 ribs. And we laugh about it now, but of course at the time it wasn't funny at all.
Cool. Ingrid Martinez, once again, just saying hello from Mexico. Hi, everybody in Mexico. We hope you're all doing great. Thank you for tuning in. And we hope to be back there playing very soon.
This one's from Janice Locke. What are the days like on the road when we're touring? We have pretty much a routine. Of course, we do a lot of shows, either back to back or one day in between. Typically, when we go to a city for the first time with a couple of days off, we get to see the sights. But once we've been there 3 or 4 times, it's a bit of a routine. If we get in late in the morning, I personally go up to my room and unpack my stage clothes and get organised for the day, have some lunch and try and relax, because typically there's not very much time between when you get in the afternoon and when you have to go to sound check. Sound check's usually around 5, typically with an 8 o'clock show. I don't go back to the hotel. I just like to relax backstage on my own and, get my act together. It may seem monotonous to some, but, it's the routine, and Graham and I are we're into the routine. Same thing every day, because then you know what to expect. Would you agree, Graham?
Completely, yeah. Absolutely. Very good question. Oh, here's an interesting one from Josiel Fleury. He's from Rondonia. I'm not pronouncing it correctly, I'm sure, Brazil. And his question is, good afternoon, GNR. Over these 45 years, I have dedicated myself for 25 years of my life, since I was 7 years old. I like to sing all your songs. After this pandemic, you could do a worldwide project with your fans, making lives and sharing music with people, sing together, each in their country, bringing their fans ever closer. What do you think of this project? I wanted to sing side by side with you. It's my sweet dream. I love you guys. I'm from Rodonia, Brazil. It's a great question. And we'll have to have a chat with our manager, who is in on this afternoon. We'll have a chat with him. That's a great idea. Thank you for that.
This one is from Trisha. Have we ever gotten to the lyrics to a song? Probably. It's been many years, many songs, and many performances. But after all these years, I think I've got it pretty much down now. Once in a while, but you would never notice, because everybody's looking at Graham.
Oh, right. No, that's not true. Here's an interesting one. Orkun Koktuna from Turkey. And she says, I don't know if it's a girl or a guy. Excuse me if I'm incorrect. I hope you come to Turkey in the near future. Wow, that would be great. I'd love to go to Turkey. I've never been there. That would be wonderful. Thank you for tuning in. And if there's any other fans in Turkey, hello. Thank you for tuning in.
This one's from Brian. Are you working on any new music? That would be a question that Graham could answer for you, because he's been in the studio for a month now at his house, writing incessantly, I'll bet.
Yes. I wrote and recorded 16 songs in the last few weeks because I wanted to, but they're all from a new musical called Dead Certain, which I'm really into. But I'm sure some of those songs will find their way into the show soon. And I'm sure Air Supply will be recording some of them, I hope. But that's a great question. So I have been keeping busy.
This one's from Crystal for both of us. What's your favourite drink? All of them? No, not really.
Depends what time it is.
Yeah, right. I'm about to have a glass of champagne pretty quick. I drink wine, mostly white. I have a glass of red before the show. I like a good a dirty martini, and I like these things called breakfast shots. You have them for breakfast, of course. And it's a mixture of Jameson whiskey, butterscotch schnapps, a little piece of bacon, and
bacon.
Yeah,
in a drink.
Yeah, you put the bacon into the scotch and schnapps.
Oh my God!
You eat the bacon, shoot the scotch, and then drink the orange juice. Tastes just like waffles. But you have to be 21, kids. So don't do it unless you're 21.
Wow, I never heard of that one.
Yeah. What about you, Ace?
I enjoy a glass of white wine. I don't drink any other alcohol. I drink occasionally a glass of red wine, but I don't drink any other form of alcohol. I just like a glass of white wine, and I have a glass after the show, usually, in fact, always. And I look forward to that. It's a nice release after the show because a show, your adrenaline is so pumped up after a show. You need to come down and start the coming down process. And to do that, I like to have a glass of wine. It brings me down pretty quick. Couple of hours, but thank you.
This one's from a good friend of ours. It's not a question, it's a comment. This is from Paul Corretney. Hope you're doing well, Paul. Paul said, I love your T-shirts. And I love my T-shirts too. It's funny, I wore a T-shirt that had some funny saying on it years ago. And then I got, constantly people would send them to me. Some good friends of mine send me funny ones now. Well, they think they're funny and I think they're funny. So if you've ever seen me in a T-shirt that offended you, I'm very sorry. But I have a naughty sense of humour and I like to enjoy it. So thanks, Paul. Hope you're feeling good, mate.
Here's one from David Monteiro. How is your favourite Beatles song? My favourite Beatles song, I'm sure you mean what is your favourite Beatles song? My favourite Beatles song is If I Fell. And I think because it's just so simple and so beautiful, with John and Paul's harmonies, which are very unusual in that song. Plus, it reminds me of when I went to see the movie when I think I was 13 or 14. So it always takes me back there, but it's a beautiful song. Good question. Thank you.
This one is from Adrian, and Graham's going to answer it. How did you get the name Air Supply, Graham?
All right. Well, Russ and I were in Superstar, and we had a record coming out, but we didn't have a name. And, I think in a band, choosing the right name is one of the hardest things to do. And we had a lot of silly names that people suggested, but we didn't care for. So we had to make a decision by the following morning, and we said whoever had a name the next morning, we would have to go with it. Well, that night I dreamt of a billboard, a square billboard. It was pure white, and on the perimeter were flashing lights like laser beams and strobe lights. And in the middle of the billboard were two words in black, and it said Air Supply. So I presume that was a name, and I told Russell, and we agreed to go with it, simply because we had no choice. We had to, if we were going to have the record come out, we needed a name. So we went with it, which I think is a good idea because we didn't really choose it, it chose us.
This is interesting for you folks. This is a bottle of champagne, which I'm about to enjoy. And it might look broken, but this is a technique called sortilage, I think. And you take a knife or a sword, if you're in the army, and you chop the top off. Hopefully it's intact. So here's to you all. And thank you for celebrating with us. And I'll have a glass for you, G.
Oh, okay, cool. Save
Cheers.
it for me.
I will, yeah.
Cheers.
It won't travel well.
No. It won't make it out of your house for sure. Oh, did it come off?
Oh, yeah. I think you'll see it in a minute. I have a bit of delay from this end. Okay, let me see. Hello from Austin, Texas, Lyndon. How did you two meet in the beginning? Well, today is the actual date, May the 12th, but it was in Australia. And we had both gone to audition for the Australian production of Jesus Christ Superstar. It was a very terrifying experience for me because I had no experience at all in music, but I went along and endured the process. And the very first day of rehearsals, I met very tall, among other 60 people there, the other 60 people, met a very tall Englishman with very long blonde hair and a very loud laugh.
Right.
I was immediately drawn to him for just the person that I know him to be now. Very outgoing, and He was obviously English, I'm Australian. So we just kind of, fell into each other's company and ended up sitting in the dressing room together, ended up in the same situation, the same place at the start of the show. It was all very simple, but, I'm blessed to have him as a friend and a partner for all these years. But that was it, May 12th, 1975.
That's a lovely thing to say. Thank you. And the same goes for you too. It's I woke up this morning, I thought, wow, that time you think about your whole career. I mean, I can remember when we were doing some promotion in France, and the guy said, "Oh, coming up is your 10th anniversary. What are you going to do?" Remember that guy from the record company?
Absolutely.
He bought us all that champagne.
That guy.
Yeah, and because so we were trying to think of what we would do on our 10th anniversary. Going, wow, isn't that a long time? And now here we are with 45 years, and I'm sure we'll get to 50. I hope so. But that's an interesting thought. Diane Meyer, how long have you been a vegan, Graham? I've been a vegan for almost 2 years, and I was influenced by our keyboard player Mirko, who has been a vegan for about a year longer than that. And it's funny with diet and food; it's not for everyone, and everything's not for everyone. But I've been vegetarian before for a long time, and so the vegan thing wasn't a stretch for me. But I do enjoy it very much. Sometimes on the road, it's hard to find what you want to eat, so I have to take. I take food on planes, as often as I can. But you can find stuff at airports if you know the airports. I mean, we know pretty much every airport in the US, and we know where the good eating places are. So you can find stuff. But for me, it works. It's great, and I will continue to be vegan, I think.
I'll always be a meat eater, but that's another story.
Yes, that's fine. That's good.
I know. Who's the sorry, the person who asked this, their name went by. Our favourite artist that we've ever worked with. We've worked with some great people. We've done a lot of shows with America. Jerry and Dewey, very good friends of ours. Worked a lot with Christopher Cross. We've done shows with Mickey Thomas, Dionne Warwick. God, way too many. And all of them, obviously, great artists, but more important, they're great people. So I could go on, but that's just a small sample of the people we've enjoyed playing with.
Is an interesting one. Laura Staffia Rukas. She says, "Can I cut your hair?" You need a long pair of scissors from where you are, Laura. At the moment, I'm just going to put it behind my ears, and everybody thinks I've had it cut. But it's a good question, and maybe you can if you're at a show or something.
Jennifer Ballard, what's family like for the both of you? Well, these days, of course, it's very quiet. My wife typically goes on the road with me, and so does the dog, our dog Chili. But at home, it's really quiet. I mean, I don't have the luxury of having the talent that Graham does, being able to write songs and play any kind of instrument. So when I'm not on the road, I'm usually in front of the television set with a remote in my hand and watching Netflix these days because I've run out of regular TV. But I just like to be quiet. I've not always, had some comments sometime after the shows, and people have said, why you're so quiet now because you were so whatever you were on stage. And I said that, that's just part of who I am and who Graham and I are. It's not who we are always. I mean, I don't like to be, I'm not after recognition when I go out shopping. I don't need to be at the famous parties. We were never like that, Graham and myself. Probably suffered a little in the early days because we didn't hang out with the groovy people. But I like to live a very quiet life off stage. It suits me now.
Very good question. Here's another, Alejandra Robles Castro. Hello, Graham and Russell from Chile. Happy 45th Air Supply anniversary from your #1 airhead. You both are the stars of the band of my life. Could you tell me, please, how will I survive until I see you again in 2021? The concert has been moved twice since 2019. Yeah, it has, and it was not by any fault of ours. We really want to come and play that show because we're also playing with Michael Bolton, and I believe it's been rescheduled now. I'll have to ask my manager. But you're right, it's been postponed twice. But we really want to come down there. I love Chile. I love Santiago. I wrote Me and the River in Santiago too. I just thought I'd throw that in there.
There you go. I have a question from Lisa Fredrickson. What's my favourite Netflix show? There's been several. My favourites so far have been Ozark, Good Girls, and it doesn't sound what it sounds like, but Schitt's Creek is hilarious. So they're my favourites so far.
There we go. Oh, money here. Oh, right. Show. Are you still coming? Are you still coming for the concert in Mulvane, Kansas on June the 6th? It's my birthday that day, and I really would love to see you guys. You know, I'm not sure if we're doing that show or not. Our manager will know. I believe it's still there, but keep looking at our schedule because it's updated every day and it changes every day. But a good question.
This one's from Caroline. Has Westbury been rescheduled? I don't believe so yet, but a lot of the shows that were postponed earlier in the year have been moved to August, September. So I guess you'll just have to keep your eyes and ears open. Obviously, even when you watch the news every day, the COVID situation changes from sometimes hour to hour, it seems. But we certainly don't want to disappoint any of the fans, any of you guys that have committed to come and see us. And we have our fingers crossed as much as you do, because even though these breaks, or this break, has been probably beneficial for the guys in the band, and certainly Graham from a songwriting perspective, you know, what we do is we're a touring band, and what we love to do is be on the road and perform concerts. So as soon as that can kick in again, when it's safe for everybody, we'll be out there certainly.
Here's a good question from Susan Hall. Are you wearing leather pants? The answer is no. I've actually got my sweats on at the moment, my dear. I don't wear leather trousers at home. Or did you mean on stage? No, I don't wear leather trousers on stage. They look like leather, but they're not. They're a fake leather. But they are tight.
Yeah, tell me about it. Jeanette, what's the secret to your beautiful friendship? I believe it was kind of that. You know, as I said in my earlier spiel, the first time we met and the first time we had a conversation, there was an instant connection there. And as far as working together for so long, you know, the friendship sustains us because we respect each other. We respect each other's talents and each other's roles in Air Supply. We love each other as brothers and always have been very supportive of each other, no matter what we're going through, you know, on the road or off the road. And, you know, it always sounds corny, you know, soul brothers and this and that. But Graham has always said that it was predestined that we were supposed to meet. And I've said many times that the friendship is just an indication of the longevity of the friendship is just an indication of how much we care for each other and how much we respect each other.
Very cool. Arlene Kaplanstein, do you have any special requests you make your dressing room before the show? As I said earlier, I have a juicer in there, and we carry our own juicer, but often they have one in there ready for me with a lot of veggies or carrots, all kind of greens, which I juice. Apart from that, I have alkaline water, which I like to drink. And then for after the show, there's a bottle of very nice white wine in the fridge usually. And our tour manager, Sparky, makes sure that that's there. And if it's not, he has to fit.
And he gets yelled at.
And he gets yelled at. No, that's all I have. Very simple, you know, not not a lot of stuff for the dressing room, and that's all. Clean towels. That's all. And some flowers. We both have flowers in the room because sometimes dressing rooms can be a little dodgy. But if you've got a nice bunch of fresh flowers in there, it makes everything beautiful and it brightens everything up and puts you in a good space.
This one's from Rosario. What's the meaning of the star tattoo on my hand? Well, first of all, obviously everybody knows I like tattoos. My daughter was 18, I think, and she wanted to get a tattoo. And she asked me if I would go with her, and she wanted to get a star tattooed on her foot. And she said she would only get a tattoo if I got one as well. So I got a tattoo of a star on my hand, just to be in support of her and because I love him.
Oh, I just lost that one. I found a good one. Oh, here we go. They keep moving, don't they?
They do.
It's from Eddie Geese or Gise. Graham, this one's for you. Why do you never play a Stratocaster guitar? Do you like them? And if so, I would like to give you one next time you are in California. I'd love a Strat. The reason I don't play a Strat and I play a Telecaster instead is because I flip the guitar over so it's upside down. And a Telecaster looks more uniform upside down because of the small horn, if you'll pardon the English. But a Strat has the oblique horns, and it looks a little weird upside down. That's the only reason I don't play it. Plus, I like the sound of the Telecaster. It's a little more ripping sound for me. I'm a big. My favorite guitar player is Keith Richards, and he's always played a Telecaster. But the first guitar I ever bought was a Telecaster, and it's a 1964 white Telecaster, and I still have it. It's in my studio, but I don't take it out on the road anymore. But good question, Eddie. Thank you.
This one is from Salma. Since my teenage years, I love being madly stuck with your mellifluous songs. I'm going to be 45 soon. Happy anniversary. Oh, okay. That wasn't a question. Well, happy anniversary from Sydney, Australia, I presume.
Right. Or it could be Sydney, Texas. Oh, no, that's Paris, Texas, isn't it?
Paris, yeah.
Here's a question. Josie L. Fleury. Graham, I already learned to play and sing Fix You Up on my guitar. Well, that's very cool. That was posted yesterday, and I hope everybody's enjoying it. I just wanted to give everybody a taste of what I've been doing, and I'm glad you're playing it on guitar. It's real simple on guitar, and obviously you know that it's in C. Cool. Nice question.
This is not a question. Another comment from a former player with us, Avli Av, amazing piano player and keyboard player. So thanks for checking in, man. Hope you're doing well, and hopefully we can catch up again soon as well.
Oh, here's an interesting one. From Kimberly Branson. Do you think you were considered sex symbols? I can only speak for myself, and the answer is definitely no. I've never even thought about that. I mean, when I was younger, when I was a teenager, I was always been tall and gangly and thin, and I always felt a little awkward. I felt that my limbs were all over the place. So I've always had that throughout my life. I've always felt a little weird. So definitely not a sex symbol at all. There aren't all sex symbols, I don't think.
Yes, there are.
Frankenstein.
I'm not one of them, that's for sure.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Anyway, moving right along.
You're the singer, man.
You're right, yeah. This one's a comment about Graham. Yes, you are sexy.
Oh, well.
So there you go.
I guess I can't argue with that, but you're very kind. But I don't think about that.
This was from Barbara. Are either of you grandfathers? I'm not.
Oh.
And you, Graham?
I have 6 grandchildren.
Whoa.
Yeah. And they range in ages from 24 to 7. I think Henry's 7 now.
Wow.
If I'm wrong, my daughter Sam will call me after this, and she'll say, no, he's 6. I think he's 7. Yeah, 24 to 7, 6.
Graham, this is from Julissa, I think.
Oh.
How old were you when you composed your first song?
I was 12 years old, and it was called The Rockin' Feeling. And it was terrible. But and I used to play it a lot. It was very simple because it was a 12 bar. Because I only knew 3 or 4 chords, and 3 of them are in that song. But a 12 bar is just a song with 3 chords, so it's very simple. But you know, I think for any songwriter, your first songs, your first few years as a songwriter are always a learning curve, and with every song you get better and you learn a bit more. Kind of like life, really. It's just an analogy of life, isn't it? Good question.
This one's from Robert Lavoie, asking me, what do I do to prepare my voice for the show? Well, we have a routine every night before the show. The band and Graham and I get together in Graham's dressing room, and we run through most of the choruses of all the songs, just to make sure that they're in tune and that we know that we're all on the same page, but not too much. You know, I know singers that have a complicated routine before the shows, and I've never found that worked for me. And I'm not knocking it, certainly, because, you know, everybody has their own thing, and ours is quite simple and quite short. But I just want to know that my voice is where it's supposed to be before the show, and that all the harmonies are in tune with each other. So that's why we do that. Thank you, sir.
Very good. Here's one from Tim Grubau. I hope that's pronounced right. What song has been written that you wish you had wrote? That's a great question. Any Beatles song, anyone, doesn't matter which one it was.
Very cool. Oh, this is cool. Another comment, not a question. This is from Hair Supply, the band that covers our songs, from San Francisco. Congratulations on 45 years. Thanks, boys. That's very, very cool. Can't tell you. Very touching. Thank you.
I'd love to see you perform. That would be great. Always more coming in from Brazil. Let's see. Here we go. Michael Fox, Sweet Dreams. Wondering your thoughts on Sweet Dreams. Were you surprised it was such a big hit in the USA? Any story about the song or thoughts on the record company shortening your songs for airplay? Well, they did that a lot in the 80s. You know, any record that was over 3 minutes or 3:15 was considered not suitable to play on the radio. But that's changed a lot now. And in fact, you know, with Making Love Out Nothing at All, the original version from Jim Steinman was like 6 minutes, and Clive Davis from Arista cut that in half. But it's still an incredible song. But for Sweet Dreams, I remember I bought a new keyboard. It was the same keyboard that Frank, our keyboard player at the time, had. It was a Jupiter 4. And it had all these buttons that you actually had to push. There was no dials. You pushed buttons, and it changed the sound. And it would go, every time you changed the sound, you would hit the button, and it would go, ka-dum, ka-dum. And I really got used. I liked the ka-dum sound more than the string sound. So I started playing with that, and then suddenly I just heard Sweet Dreams. I thought, oh wow, that's really cool. And so that was the first song I wrote on that big, heavy synthesizer that I used to cart around in this big case, but I don't do that anymore.
This one's from Chandra Riccio. Why do I, Russell, always wear shades? Because it's the only way I can look cool. And I have very bad eyesight, but these are prescriptions. I can't read pretty much anything without them. But once again, I like them.
Well, they're you, aren't they?
They fit my style.
Yeah, they're you. They're you. Konstantin Wagner, please say hi to my mom, Paula. She's been a fan for years and loves you with all her heart. From Argentina. Hello, Paula. Hello, everybody in Argentina. Hello, all our fans down there. We hope to be there soon. Buenos Aires is one of my favorite cities in the world.
Okay, give me a sec. Oh, this is from Brent Davis. What would you do if you weren't musicians? When I was in school many years ago, I thought I was going to be a teacher, but I didn't complete high school, so that was out of the question. If I wasn't a teacher, I mean, if I wasn't in music, I really don't know what I would be doing, because the first time I sang with all the people in Jesus Christ Superstar, and hearing 60 people sing together, it was a life-changing experience. And I knew that day, that very moment, that I could never do anything else.
I'm trying to find a question that I thought I saw from somebody from Nottingham, England, which I thought was interesting, but I can't find it. It's scrolled away. But if there's anybody tuning in from Nottingham, England, type back and I'll answer your question.
This one is from, give me a second, Marie Horn-Etz. Hi, Russell and Graham. What advice would you give your younger self? Make better decisions, be more informed. Yeah, that's it really. I mean, obviously you don't learn anything unless you make mistakes, but sometimes they can be pretty hurtful and expensive, not just financially but emotionally. So I would just be more sensible if you can. But once again, emotions you have no control over, so you've just got to go with the flow when that happens. But just keep your eyes and ears open, and don't just accept things on face value. How about you, G?
I completely agree. I mean, I think if there are things you could do again, you would probably do different things, but then it wouldn't make you who you are. I mean, we have to make mistakes, which builds our character. So I don't know if I'd change anything, but you're right. I'd change some of the decisions I made, especially when I was at school. I was a bit of a, sometimes I wasn't a nice person at school, but I'm nice now. Okay. From the Air Supply Peruvian fan club, would you record a song in Spanish again? Absolutely. I would indeed. That was a lot of fun. It was Dame Amor, and I think it was in 1992, if I'm not mistaken. But maybe it's time we did another one. Be nice to sing with a Spanish artist. If anybody has any ideas, let us know.
I'd love to sing with Luis Miguel. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah.
That would be. Yeah.
This one's from Jonathan Pino. No, I just lost that. These things go by so quickly. Anyway, Graham, any producers you admire?
It's been a while since I've been on that tack. I think David Foster is one of the greatest producers of our time. And for me, the late George Martin, who produced all the Beatles stuff, and Russell and I actually had lunch with him a long time ago. I think it was like 83 or 84.
Yep.
We had lunch with him on Sunset Boulevard, and it was a great time. We had like a 2-hour lunch and spoke about a lot of things, and that was a great thrill for us both. But those two guys, I think, encapsulate both ends of the production spectrum. They're both brilliant. I think with producers, you've got it in your blood, and both of those guys have it, of course. But they're probably my two favorite producers.
Okay. Sir Graham, if you were asked to write a song for a singer, whom would you choose to sing it?
How would I choose to sing it?
Who would you choose to sing it? Well, me, of course.
Well, Russell first. But like you just mentioned Luis Miguel, I'd love to write a song an Air Supply song and then have Louise Miguel sing on it. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
This one's from Bobby Milford. Hey, Bobby. Good to hear from you. I know you all love the Beatles, but what about Linda Ronstadt and Bonnie Raitt? Certainly both icons in the music business. Linda Ronstadt, both great voices. And of course, Bonnie Raitt's a phenomenal guitar player. Big fans of both of their music. So thanks for asking, mate.
Very cool. Oh, here's the guy from, I believe it's a gentleman from Nottingham, Alexander Andre Cobb. And he said, I might have said, would you play Nottingham? Oh, so he's not, you may not be from Nottingham. I'd love to play Nottingham. I think it's a career dream to play the city where you come from. And I haven't done that. You know, we played Melbourne several times in our career. And, but I'd love to play Nottingham. I mean, I can't see it happening at the moment with everything going on, but I'd like to before I get too much older.
Let me see here. This one's from Karen. Karen just disappeared. These go by so fast. Oh, no, gone again. From Christchurch, Karen Gibbs, Christchurch, UK. Hi guys, who are your favourite artists? Mine are, well, first of all, the Beatles above all, but I listen to AC/DC, Queen, Bee Gees, Eagles, yeah, and a lot of 60s. Love the Hollies, those kind of bands. And you, Ace?
I love the Hollies, all the 60s, Freddie and the Dreamers.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and the Searchers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were great.
How about the Shadows?
The Shads. Yeah, Cliff and the Shads. Yeah, they were great. I mean, they're big influences. I know for you, for myself too. Just I was at school and all those bands were around. It's funny that those bands in the 60s were just, they were all so good. You know, the Kinks, Hollies, they were just so good. And
yeah.
But
excellent.
they don't seem to be a lot of, you know, 3 or 4 5-piece bands anymore.
No.
That the kind of poppy bands, you know, with great short songs. You know, at least I don't hear a lot of them. Maybe they're around, but I don't hear them.
This one is from Leanne Wiley. Can I ask Russell who his favourite Canadians are? Well, you are, of course, and your sister and your husband. And yeah, that's it for me, really. And David Foster. Love you.
Yara Nash. Hi there. Saw you both times you came to Yuma, Arizona. Winter Haven. California. Yes, California, technically. Hope to see you again soon. You know, funnily enough, and this is true, we were flying to Yuma, and the plane came in, and it was going to leave, and it did leave at 4:10. So I said to our tour manager, you know, we're on the 4:10 to Yuma. I thought that was interesting.
Wasn't it the 3:10 to Yuma?
I think well, whatever it was. It was 3 or 4. No, I think it was 4:10.
The movie's the 3:10, but anyway.
Was it really?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. In the bank.
Oh, okay. Then it was the 3:10. Oh, I know why it was 4:10, because Arizona don't change their clocks.
There you go.
I just made that up.
There you go. Melissa Hart. Happy birthday, my dear. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope you're happy that you enjoyed our conversation here, or are enjoying.
Maria Soldad Chavez Ortiz, congratulations and greetings from Costa Rica. Hi, everybody from Costa Rica. We don't get there very often. We haven't been for ages, but we need to come back and get on the beach and hear that beautiful Spanish accent that everybody has.
This one's from Tracy Cunningham. Used to work with us. She's a lovely girl. She's recovering from a neck procedure. So all the best to you, my dear. We love you still. Well, we always did.
Craig Black, hi from Illinois. Do you have a favorite movie? Yes, I do. My favorite movie is The Godfather. I think it's brilliant. And after that, Lawrence of Arabia. And in fact, is a piece of information. The Lawrence of Arabia soundtrack, which won an Oscar, I don't know when it was, it might be 63 or something, was recorded in Prague in the same studio where we recorded the Lost in Love Experience live strings. I thought that was very interesting. Over to you.
That was that was very interesting. I'm looking for questions and not comments here. Not that your comments aren't lovely.
Oh, thank you.
Good friend of mine, Tim Grubar, said, laugh out loud. Hi, Timmy. Can you introduce us to your wives? Well, we could, but not today.
Right. Here's an interesting one. It's for you, mate, which is odd. Anthony Santamaro. Russell, were you sick when you recorded I Can Wait Forever?
That's too weird.
It is weird. No, I remember you weren't sick at all.
I had a cold.
Oh, you did?
Had a very slight head cold, yeah.
Interesting that they picked that up.
Yeah, very observant. Very observant.
Yeah.
Go ahead, G.
Somebody just said, which is very interesting. I can't remember. It's gone away, but the question hasn't. Somebody asked, "Will we still go into the audience in the light of the COVID-19 situation?" And the answer is not at the moment, not until further notice. I don't think we have to, respect everybody's health, and when people say it's okay to do it, we'll do it, but not until then, I don't think, which is a shame, because that's one of my favorite parts of the show. But the people, our fans' safety and health comes first.
This is true. Yeah, you have to be sensible these days, that's for sure. Let me see. Questions. Nice to see all of the airheads love us.
It is.
That's funny. This is a question who do you identify with, Sonny, Fredo, or the other dude? Michael Corleone, identify with him.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, that was it. That was the answer to the question.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Sue Smith, happy 45th anniversary from the UK. Ta-da! Graham, do you still rescue wildlife? Thank you for your music. No, I don't. We did it for like 15 years, and then it got too much to handle because I was doing birds and mammals, but I don't do it anymore. However, I do rescue a few birds that hit I have a lot of glass around my house, and now and then birds hit the glass and they look like they're gone, but they hit the floor and their eyes roll back, but they're usually not dead. So if this happens to you, wrap a little towel around the bird, put it in a dark box for like 10 or 15 minutes, and the chances of it coming back to life are like 95%, because they hit the glass and they go a little bit unconscious. So if you have a bird do that, don't bury it. It's still alive.
I thought that you said when that happens to you, like if it happened to one of us, like if you hit on the window.
Oh, right.
Wrap a towel around your head and stay in the garage for 4 hours.
Yeah, and put yourself in a dark box.
Oh, this one is from Solange. If you could go out for lunch with anybody in the world, who would it be and why? That obviously, once again, that's very repetitive. I'd go out to lunch with Paul McCartney because he's one of the greatest and one of the members of the greatest band that ever existed. I used to say he was my favorite Beatle when I was younger, but just to be in his presence and have a salad and a lentil with him would be my pleasure.
That's very cool. Okay. I wish they'd stop. They keep moving. Hang on. Well, Please, from LCR Nascimento, please say hi to Elisa in Porto Alegre, Brazil. Hi, Elisa. She cry all the time on the show. Do you remember? I remember the show, but thank you very much. Hi there. Hi to everybody in Porto Alegre. I remember it very well, very well. We've been there twice in the last 3 years, and I hope we can come back again.
This one is from Holly DeVore. Would you consider performing a completely acoustic concert? Why or why not? Well, actually, we did a tour some years ago, and there were only four of us on stage, Graham and I, Guy Allison on piano and Larry Antonino on upright bass. And it was a great experience. I don't think we've really discussed doing that since then, but it's certainly not out of the realms of possibility. But it was a great experience because, you know, once again, it narrowed the music down to the song and the voices, and we got dressed up real fancy.
Yeah. Sergio Luis Barraza Castillo. Hello from Culiacan, Sinaloa, Mexico. Why are the Heart in Motion and Across the Concrete Sky albums not for sale? Can you do anything about it for the people that want to have these albums? Yeah, we're actually going to put the albums that we have on our store site so people can get them. And as a matter of fact, I just cleaned out one of my outbuildings where I live, and I found quite a large cachet of albums of ours, which we're going to put on the store. And there's Hearts in Motion, Across the Concrete Sky, Vanishing Race, a lot of them out of print, you know. So now we're going to bring them back again. And I hope that answers your question.
This one's from Eladia Shire. What have you learnt during this quarantine? Well, one of the things I've learnt when you go to the grocery store that people have no clue what 6 feet is or a mask. Drives me crazy. I think that's a no-brainer. I probably also patience. You know, we don't know how long we're going to be in this situation, and you know, we've just got to go through it, you know, to get through it. So just, you know, be considerate of other people and their space. I think probably one of the biggest things I've learned that we need to respect.
Yeah. Here's one from Daryl Nash. Will you record Free to Love in the studio? Do you prefer recording singles or full albums? We actually have recorded Free to Love, and maybe we should, Russell and I might talk about putting it out on our site, because the recording is fantastic, but we've never released it. In fact, there's a few tracks we have in the can that we could release for everyone, and we may do that. We'll have to have a chat about that. Good question. Thank you.
Let me see. Graham, what inspires you to write songs?
A good question. You know, I've been writing songs for so long that it's just second nature now. I mean, when I wake up in the morning, I'm thinking about songs, what I need to finish, and, you know, do I have an idea for this or the? I'm always thinking about them. You know, I'm very fortunate because my lifestyle allows me to do that. You know, if I had a day job, a real job, I wouldn't be able to do that. But now I can think about that pretty much all the time. But it never stops with me. You know, as I said earlier, I wrote my first song when I was 12, and I write every day, and it's something I love to do. It's never a chore, and I never have a block of any kind. You know, if somebody asks me to write a song, or I need to write a song about a certain thing, I think about it, and then I sit down with my guitar or piano, and it's there. So I'm very fortunate, and I'm very happy that I am that way, and I don't take it for granted.
This one's from Craig Black. What made you decide to live in the states that you live in? Well, initially when I first started living in the US, I lived in California and lived there for 30-something years. I lived in Arizona for 5 years, and then I've been in Georgia now for 6. Initially, it was from a business perspective only. It made more sense for us to be in LA because all our management was there, our agents were there, our lawyers were there, our record company had a base there. But, you know, the more time we spent in the US, the more I enjoyed it, and it just made more sense to ultimately use that as a base for us. And of course, I've moved 2 or 3 times over the years, but love living here. It's a great country. And you?
Yeah, well, we pretty much moved to the US at the same time, but it's funny because Russell and I are so similar in many ways, but in other ways we aren't. Russell prefers to live closer to a city, where I like to get as far away from a city as I can. And I do. Oh, a big giant magpie just landed on the wall outside. I love nature, and that's why I live where I live. As everybody knows, I live in Utah, and I'm fortunate to have a lot of trees and a lot of nature around me, which is what I love, and I think that's very fortunate. So, and I love being here. It's out of the way a little, but it's great. It only takes me 50 minutes to get to the airport. So, I love it. It's great.
This one's from Jamie Pomelo. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. What do I do for my voice during the downtime? I just rest it. I try not to use it at all unless I need to. It's actually, very unusual that we're not working as much as we normally do, because when you work as much as we do, your voice doesn't get a chance to deteriorate, or because you're doing it every night. So I'll be interested to see what happens when we go out again. But I think this time down has been great, just to rest it and get it back in shape for when we go out to rock the world again.
Yeah, absolutely. David Matthews, did you all ever meet John Denver, and what was your opinion of his songwriting talent? Yeah, we did. We met him in 1988 when we played at the Bicentennial in Sydney, Australia. He was there, and he was really cool. And it was a great loss when he died. And he was a great songwriter. When I was about, I know, not a teenager, but I was a little older, maybe 21, 22. And his song was all over the radio. Great song, and that Sunshine on My Shoulder and Rocky Mountain High and all that stuff. Great songwriter. What a great loss that was.
Yes, it was. This one's from Bob Meyer from Cincinnati. How long do you hope to tour? I can speak for Graham. I think we don't know. We don't have any plans to quit anytime soon. We'd love to reach 50 years on the road. But when we first started, and somebody says, how long do you think you'll be around? One can't answer that because people might not like you anymore tomorrow. I mean, hopefully. And I don't believe they'll stop liking us tomorrow. Well, maybe after this they will. But we just love what we do. We have no reason to stop touring. I think that we're still at our game. We perform at a very high level. I think we're still in good physical shape to do it. And the bottom line is there are people all over the world that still want to see us. So we'll be around as long as people want to come see us. That's my perspective.
That's very interesting, yeah. Oh, I just saw something that I thought was interesting. Yeah, right, I've been for you to make over.
Just to keep you up to date, we are across the hour point, so just wanted to keep you in the loop with the time.
Okay.
Well, I'll answer a few more, or so, a couple more. Sure. Kathy Close, is it true, Graham, that you used to play the drums? Yeah, I did, but I wasn't a good drummer, and I had a weird thing when I played for a few years in bands in England, but when I used to play the drums, I couldn't stop humming. I don't know if this is a common thing with drummers, but I used to hum pretty loud in my head, and I couldn't stop it, and it used to drive me up the wall. Plus, I wasn't a good drummer, and I knew that. I was okay, but if I wasn't going to be really good, and I knew it, why carry on? I wanted to find what I was really good at. Plus, I wanted to write songs, even then. But the band I was in, they weren't interested in playing original songs. So I thought, okay. So I really gave up the drums when I moved to about a year after I moved to Australia, and then I wanted to play guitar more and sing a lot more. So that's why I gave up the drums. Although, you know, Air Supply has a Ludwig kit. They're in my studio downstairs, so I get up and bash them now and again. You know, but I mean, being a great drummer is a difficult thing. You know, it's very physical. And when I went to Australia and I was playing drums, I went to see a couple of drummers like Johnny Dick and Kevin Murphy, and I saw them and I went, whoa, that I've got no chance. So I'm done with drums. You know, if there's guys like that, and I saw Ginger Baker from Cream, and you see drummers like that, you go, oh wow, their bar is so high.
Totally agreed. I used to play drums too, but very poorly. So I totally agree with Graham. When you go and see somebody that's great, you in fact, what's his name, Dirty Harry, said in a movie, a man's got to know his limitations.
Yeah.
And I certainly knew mine. I can't. This has gone by. A lady asked if we knew Olivia Newton-John. Yes, we've met her quite a few times. Been at the same functions together. Beautiful woman, obviously a phenomenal artist, and certainly our thoughts are with her. She's been through so much, but still recovering and doing great. So she's really a beautiful person.
I'll second that. Yeah. Is as we're winding up, I think, is a great question from Maggie Ortiz. Where did your best concert take place, and why was it so important to you? Salutes from Uruguay. In my opinion, I think our greatest concert was last year at the Sydney Opera House. You know, it's always been a great thrill for us to come back to Australia, where we began, and really kick some ass. You know, which we wanted to do. We wanted to let everybody know that we were still around and we still had the goods. And that evening we played with the Metropolitan Orchestra, and the evening was flawless. Everything was brilliant. And playing in the Opera House, it was packed, and the crowd was so receptive, and it was just a very proud moment for me, and I know for Russell, because he's Australian. But I think that was our best show ever. But there has been 2 or 3 that are up there, but for me that was the one.
Yep. A couple of things too. We had played with Patrick Roberts too. He's a guest violinist. He's awesome. You'll be able to
yes,
check
he
him
is.
out.
Yeah.
We just got asked a question by Brant Davis. The biggest crowd we ever played to. That was in Cuba in 2005. We played to 175,000 people, which was a record at the time there, certainly. Under very difficult circumstances. It was on the verge of a Hurricane Dennis, who came in and flattened the place after the concert. But to walk out on stage and see that many people come to see our band, we were the only act on the bill. It was phenomenal. The show didn't go until very late at night, maybe early in the morning. But it was just a pleasure and a treat to be in front of so many people singing in the rain non-stop. So that was a big treat for us.
Yeah. I think we've got time for one more question each.
Yep. I'll take one. This is from Paulo Fernandez. Do you remember when you sang with Alejandro Lerner? He's a very, very good friend of ours, and he did quite a few shows with us in Buenos Aires when we played concerts there. And Graham has written songs with him, and you guys are very close friends, right?
We are, yeah. In fact, I emailed him just 2 days ago, just for no reason. I just wanted to see how he was and say hello to his family. He's got a great family. He's a beautiful person.
Yes, he is, man.
Okay, well, one more question. Do you want to take it, Russell?
TikTok, I can't see one. They're all comments.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, you got the last one.
All right. Okay. This is from. Oh, it moved again, but I know what the question was. It was. Have you ever? Oh, here we go. From Kathleen Alves. Have you guys ever been to see the Rolling Stones or met any of them? Yes and no. I've seen the Stones 5 times now, and they're one of my favorite bands. But we haven't met any of them. Unfortunately, I'd love to meet Keith Richards. But if anybody hasn't seen the Stones live, go and see them before they stop, because there's a reason why they're the greatest rock and roll band in the world. Go and see them, and you'll understand why. But yeah, cool. Well, go ahead.
No, I just said the Stones, greatest rock and roll band ever.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they were fantastic.
Great.
Well, I think we have to wind it up now, because but you know, if I may say this before you finish up, Russell, it's been a great thing to do, and I'd love to do it more often than every 45 years. Because it's a lot of fun, and you know, and we're all in the same boat together here. You know, just doing our thing and trying to survive, and making music and living life as much best we can. But I'm going to sign off first, and do you want to close it down, Russell?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody that's participated. Sorry we couldn't answer everybody's questions, but we hope that you got a bit of a feeling into the kind of people that we are, and we hope that you get the feeling that we do respect and love you all for your support for all these years, and hopefully it's going to continue. But you know, we do give our all on stage for you guys. We go into the recording studio with the utmost you know, effort to make sure that you love the recordings we make, and we love what we do. We love performing together, and we hope that that shines every time we see you. So bless you all, be safe, and once again, wash your hands and take care of the ones that you love, and be safe.
Very cool.
We'll see you out there. Love you all.
Yeah, I can't top that. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We'll do it again soon. I promise. Bye-bye.